there's a third point that we need to recognize, and that's how we are transformed. How we are transformed. In verse 4, in the latter part of that verse, we read, "So he made it again into another vessel." So after he noticed the marring, the defect in the clay, in the vessel he was creating, he made it again into another vessel, as it seemed good to the potter to make. Folks, our God is a God of second chances. That's good news. Our God is a God of second chances. Think of Jonah. Jonah disobeyed. He went the wrong way when God told him to go one way. He went the other way. He didn't want to obey God. He didn't want to do what God called him to do. And he got in a lot of trouble for it. But you know what? The Bible tells us, after he got out of that fish's belly, the Bible says the word of the Lord came to Jonah a second time. He got a second chance. Remember John Mark? John Mark bailed out on one of the missionary journeys. Paul was angry with him. They kind of split ways for a while. But even Paul came back eventually and he said, "Send John Mark. He's profitable to me. Send him out on this journey." He gave him a second chance. And God used John Mark to write the second gospel of the New Testament. You see, the first birth marred us. Sin. But the second birth, the new birth, it mends us. It mends us. Jesus is the master potter. Jesus saves us. He sanctifies us. And He molds us into a vessel of honor. You know, there are many of us here today who have been broken into pieces. You know, I've had this for a long time. Thankfully, I've not dropped it. So I dropped it. I probably have dropped it on the carpet maybe, but if I dropped it on the cement, it would it would break into a million pieces. Many of us have broken into a million pieces. Many of us are hurting. Maybe we've been broken by evil. Maybe we've been broken by alcohol or drugs, adultery, pride, lust, greed. But you know what? Those of us who know Jesus, we've been made again. We've been given a second chance. You know, the old nursery rhyme says Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall and had a great fall, and all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put him back together again. Here's the good news, folks. The king's horses and king's men, they couldn't help Humpty, but the king can put us back together again. The king can put us back together again.